Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to this late afternoon taste challenge. I have two North American rye whiskeys. This is Knob Creek Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey, introduced in 2012, and this one was discontinued last year, and it was replaced with some new versions, 7-year aged and a 10-year age, and there might be some others. But anyway, I found this at a local store, $6.99 for the half-size bottle. So I bought two bottles. Two halves make a whole. $13.98 for Knob Creek Rye. That's the deal. Don't expect to see that deal again. Herbie. Hello, Herbie. Okay. Here is Hunter Rye. Introduced in 2013. Canadian whiskey, a blend. And then on the bullet, it says Canadian Hunter 90 proof. But I think the official name of this is Hunter Rye 90, and it talks about that right there. Hunter Rye 90 proof has been crafted to deliver the perfect balance of rye spice and smooth finish. It goes best with the great outdoors, well, not sitting outside in this heat, the light of the stars, or just sitting around a warm fire swapping stories with friends where you could sit outside in the warmth and sweat. You could tell stories. You can see it's got the standard ancient age benchmark bottle that Sazerac uses, one of their standard bottles. I've never seen this size bottle in Louisiana. I found Hunter Rye in New Orleans once, and it was in little 100 milliliter bottles. So I found this in Arlington, Texas 4 years ago, and I was glad to find it. So it's not widely distributed, honestly. Only Templeton Rye can beat Knob Creek. Well, you saying so, but I did Templeton Rye 4-year age, and it couldn't make it. Couldn't compete. Nope, did not compete very well at all. Okay, so put that down there. I'm gonna turn the lamps on, but a little bit too much. Really enjoy your reviews. I watch the old ones a lot too. Oh, thank you. I don't really need tags because you're going to be able to see that you can see this Hunter Rye is a lot lighter. It's got some darkness to it, but it's mostly with the light shining through it, it's mostly amber. Now there's a lot of chunks in this whiskey. It's almost like the yeast is like solidifying again. I gotta turn the lamp on soon and look at this. Now the Knob Creek is just copper color, clear. Let's see about this. Oh yeah, it is loaded with sediment. It is crazy looking. It's all settled to the bottom, and it's gray globs, like you get in a beer. Some of these yeasty beers, I think it's just dried yeast that's floating to the bottom. It's solidified. You might not want to. If you saw that, you might not buy it. Okay. I get it. Templeton Rye, Temple, India. Okay, I got to close my eyes now because if I glance at the darker color, I'm going to know it's the Knob Creek. I'm going to guess it anyway in a second. Let's see what's going on. just kind of have to keep an eye on that kid out there. He gets in trouble and stuff. Dan Watson, thank you. Okay, so here we go. His mother's aunt, his great aunt, lives down the street. She kind of watches him, but I don't know, they kind of take up for him, like they'll kind of make excuses. Anyway, I guess we all do that. All right, but he'll probably do better when he's older, get a little more mature. He's only a little kid. All right. Smells spicy. Not so spicy. So I think the Sazerac rye is spicier in the nose. And I'm assuming this is Sazerac rye. I haven't tasted it. Just doesn't smell like the Knob Creek. Yeah, it's pretty mild. Now, Canadian whiskey. Okay, and this is the rye. This is the Hunter Rye 90. Yeah, knew that. Didn't have to taste the other one. So can Canadian whiskey like this Hunter Rye, is it allowed to have coloring and flavoring added? And the answer is yes, it is. I'm not sitting here telling you that it's got coloring and flavoring added because I don't know. I'm saying that it's allowed to. So put this camera a little closer. So I think it's like 50-50. Maybe it's got coloring added, maybe it's got flavoring added. I'm not sure. Give it another sip. It's got nuttiness, like walnut oil. Walnut, like if you were peeling walnuts, you got the oil in your hands, your fingers, and you smelled it. It's like, yeah. So you could make the argument that that's a flavor, a natural flavor. Obviously, if it came from a nut, from a walnut or a pecan, it would be natural. So I know they add all, they're known to add all sort of exotic natural flavors of Canadian whiskey. Even brandy, which is made from grapes typically. So I don't know, sometimes I'll even add bourbon, which would be a natural flavor. Isn't that crazy? But well, that's the old regulations. Now they used to give a list, which may include. It didn't say it has to be from this list. The list says which may include. Now the new regulation just states natural flavors. That's all it says. May contain natural flavors and caramel color. It doesn't say what the percentage has to be or any of that. So they really loosened the regulations. Temple belongs to India and Nepal, says Herbie. Craft Beer Tastic says, that sure takes me back to when Blue Moon was a true craft beer. Well, I guess it was never really a true craft beer because, after all, it was created by Coors in 1995. But it was certainly a craft style beer. It always tastes the same to me. I first tried it in the late 90s, and I never thought it still tastes the same to me. But they've changed. They've done so many variants over the years, haven't they? Had that Northern, that Winter Mountain, Mountain Abbey Ale, and all that stuff. Remember they used to make the Blue Moon Pumpkin Ale for fall. Pumpkin Ale, that was really great. Now the only flavor one they make is the mango, which is good. I guess Blue Moon has flavoring too, right? The orange peel, but the only flavor variant they make is the mango. which I like, honestly. But I kind of miss the old days with all those different ones. But I guess maybe they didn't make money. They had the graffiti series, but like you say, it was like almost like a true craft beer because they had the graffiti series, they had the Grand Cru, they had the, which I didn't buy stupidly, and when I went back to get it, it was discontinued. Uh, yeah, that was something. But maybe they sat down with their books and they said, "This doesn't make money. We lose money on it." Herbie, why do you asking me questions that got nothing to do with the products we're looking at? Do you prefer cremation or burial? Burial, of course. What do you think is better, Sam Adams Summer Ale or Blue Moon? Says Craft Beer Tastic. I'll go with Samuel Adams Summer Ale. I would prefer that because I'm not too big on wheat beers, honestly, but might go buy some more Samuel Adams Summer Ale this year. I got to check my record, see when the last time I reviewed it. Maybe do a revisit. It's always good. Leinenkugel's got the summer shandy, but I don't feel like drinking beer with lemonade in it. I do enough of those flavor malt beverages, and they're all right. I mean, I don't mind them, but I just don't want to buy more than I need to for the channel. So, Hunter Rye, is it worth buying? Yeah, especially when you can find it for $11.99 like I did 4 years ago for a full size bottle. Yeah, it's worth it. Is it better than Canadian Hunter, the 80 proof regular Canadian Hunter? It is better. It's got more character. Canadian Hunter, the regular old Canadian Hunter just adds like, yeah, it adds like, it's like they just took a basic Canadian whiskey and added flavoring to it. Like I said, nut oil. I don't think the flavoring is bad. And in fact, I like the flavor, but I don't know. They must be trying to mask something with all of that because it's pretty flavored tasting. Now, if you get Crown Royal, it tastes like a regular whiskey, you know. Crown Royal tastes like a bourbon whiskey, a light bourbon whiskey, only 80 proof. But Crown Royal could have flavoring at it. I've never bothered to write a letter to the company, meaning an email these days, asking them do they add flavoring. I'm not that interested if they do or not, but they would be allowed to. Yes, they would be allowed to. Okay, so the final assessment, Hunter Rye 90. If you live in Canada, it's not going to say imported. It's just going to say Hunter Rye. But up here, they got a little, it's very small. You can't see it from here. Imported Hunter Rye. And it's a gray and black label. Gray, white, silver, and black. Not colorful like the regular Canadian Hunter, which does have a following. I'll admit that. But it's nice. I don't know the price, the normal price. I guess that was the normal price. That's so cheap. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. 9.0 out of 10. Just getting into A minus. And it's bottled at Buffalo Trace in Kentucky. Well, Sazerac owns Sazerac Canada, and they own Buffalo Trace, so they running the whole operation on this. What do you think is better? Oh, is it regulation that imported be on the label like that? No, I don't think so. They're just putting that because it trying to make it look special. Because if they put Canadian whiskey, a blend, you're going to know it's imported because it's from Canada, right? So right there it says Canadian whiskey, a blend. That's the legal disclosure. You always have to have on any alcoholic beverage. Talking about the United States regulations, you must have a label disclosure of what it actually is. And so they have a label disclosure. Canadian whiskey, a blend. That's a legal way of saying it. You could also alternatively say Canadian blended whiskey. That's the two ways you could state that. Canadian whiskey hyphen a blend, or they use a comma sometimes, or Canadian blended whiskey. Either way is perfectly legal. So we don't know the age on it. We know it's at least 3 years, but otherwise we don't know. Probably not. Might just be 3 years. We don't know the age of Knob Creek. We know it's at least 4 years. So does Knob Creek beat it? Oh, easily. Do they have some Canadian rye whiskeys that can defeat Knob Creek? Probably. Probably they do. I've never had them. Certainly none of the rye whiskeys I've brought into this challenge have actually done well. They've been getting trounced, decimated, annihilated, castigated, instigated, syndicated, because you can syndicate anything you want. That's just a fact. They haven't been competing very well. So Knob Creek has ruled the roost in this challenge series, and I don't think Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye is going to do any better, but I could be fooled, but I doubt it. So I'm hoping tomorrow to do Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye, 95% rye whiskey versus Knob Creek. But I don't think it's going to make it, but it'll probably come closest of all. What about then we're going to travel across the ocean to the Kingdom of Scotland. We're going to leave the Dominion of Canada. We're going to sail across. We're going to ship the whiskey back on a ship from the Kingdom of Scotland. We're going to try Johnny Walker High Rye, a newer product, only been on the market about 2 years. 3 years maybe. I could find out. Hadn't been long. It's an interesting way to do Scotch whiskey. Why not, right? Let's make a rye whiskey in Scotland. Scotland's known for blended whiskey and single malt. It is technically a blended whiskey because it's 60% rye whiskey, and probably 20% grain whiskey, corn, maize, distillate, probably 20% single malt. No problem. Aged separately, most likely, then blended and bottled. Or maybe blended and aged a little more and then bottled. Sometimes they'll blend them, let them rest a few months, then bottle them. It's up to the company. But it would be considered a rye whiskey, technically a rye whiskey. Most all rye whiskey is blended. Even the 100% rye is blended because it's blended with different ones. It just happen to be rye whiskeys of different ages, but it's all the same grain, at least. But that's an interesting product, an intriguing product. My friend David wasn't too keen on it. He didn't like it too much. Fine, you don't have to like. If I like it, you don't have to like it. Did I like the double Blue Moon? You talking about that Blue Moon Extra, the 8%, 8.5? Burley Sullivan says, you. Hey, Burley, cheers back to you. That's only sold in those stovepipe cans at this point. I like it quite a bit. And in fact, I think it's better than the regular Blue Moon. It's got more action with it. Yeah, the extra Blue Moon Extra. It's got a lot of character. You know, they really ramped it up on that. But anyway, that brings us to the end. And the clear and present winner is Knob Creek Rye 2012 to 2024 edition. I'm not shocked, actually. Yeah, I think a lot of people like it, Burley, and they're really pushing it. They're advertising it at the baseball games and across the United States. So, yeah, it's only available in those stovepipes, which are a little expensive. But I had it. I had it a few times, at least twice, and I liked it. Wouldn't make a habit of drinking it because, like I said, I'm not a wheat beer person, and I'm not really a high gravity lager person, or high gravity, in that case, high gravity ale person. Uh, but yeah, um, that's it. Knob Creek scoring a 9.5 out of 10. It's really that good. 9.5 out of 10. And Hunter Rye doing quite well at 9.0. That's a fair score for a rather obscure Buffalo Trace Sazerac product. Obscure to say the least. But that's it. Now at the top of the hour, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Pacific time, daylight time. Uh, we're going to do light beer Wednesday, any light beer. Sounds nice, and I need to get a few more bourbons at my bar in the United Kingdom, says James Ashbourne. 11 p.m. in the United Kingdom. Oh, woof. Cremation is better than burial, says Herbie. Herbie, you're still stuck on topics unrelated to the video, but Herbie's like Colonel Kurtz. He's out there. Oh, he's out there. Yeah, I think you can get a lot of. Well, of course, obviously, I live in the United States. We can get bourbons through the nose, out the ears. We get bourbons low price, mid price, high price. Doesn't matter. If anybody wants to see a show and tell, I'll show it to you. If not, we'll move on and I'll get off this. So I can show you a show and tell what I found and tell you about it, or we'll get off. So show and tell going once. Show and tell going twice. And show and tell go. Craft Beer Tastic caught it at the last second. So did the granny. Show and tell. Let's see what you got. We can get loads over here. I know that you sometimes struggle to get, but who knows why. Oh, stuff you get easily. I can't get. Yeah, I believe because United States distribution is bizarre. Why go under the United States soil? Herbie, I got to get back to planet Earth now, but I'll talk to you later. I found this for $3.99. It's a revisit. Mogan David 2020 Peaches and Cream. And it really does taste like peaches and cream. I got to give them credit. Who is them? Oh, they own Mogan David Winery. It's called the Wine Group. The Wine Group. They used to be actually owned by Coca-Cola, believe it or not. So the Wine Group was a company started back, 1981, I think. Well, actually, some other wine companies got reformulated, or it was like complicated, but I think it was really Mogan David originally, and then something happened. They got bought by Coca-Cola, and they like amalgamated all these different wine companies together, and they made the Wine Group. You follow me? And the Wine Group owns Mogan David, since, like I said, Mogan David was basically what was the Wine Group, just like Guinness is Diageo. I like how people will say on videos, well, ever since Diageo bought Guinness, I'm like, no, Guinness is Diageo, or Diageo is Guinness. It's an umbrella name that they came up with. They don't want to say Crown Royal whiskey owned by Guinness, just like they have an umbrella company for Jose Cuervo. Those people have an umbrella company called Proximo Spirits, right? They don't want to have, Bushmills Irish whiskey from Jose Cuervo. That ain't going to go over too well. So, yeah. So here it is, Mogan David 2020 Peaches and Cream, grape wine with natural flavors and obviously not natural color, food coloring, $3.99, 13% alcohol. You know, when Mogan David first hit the market, it was 20% alcohol in a 20-ounce bottle. But now it's in a 25.4-ounce bottle, and normally it's only 13.9 or 13%. Westfield, New York. Was always been in Westfield, New York. I called them one time on the phone. They answered the phone. I said, "Do you give tours?" "No, we don't give tours." They were straightforward. Grape wine with natural flavors and artificial colors. I knew that wasn't a natural color. Where's the ABV on this? I know it's on the bottle. By law, it has to be on the bottle. I know it's 13%. I don't know. There's too much glare in here. It's either 13 or 13.9. But they do make a 20% Mogan David. They do make a 20% Mogan David. But I wouldn't recommend drinking it. It's too strong. Okay. Ron, can you explain why Southerners go by their middle names? I don't know anything about that. I know they'll go by their middle name if they're a junior. Like the father's name might be Terry Paul Sr., and the son might be Terry Paul Jr. They'll call the father Terry, and they'll call the son Terry Paul to differentiate the son from the father. You get it? Like I knew a guy, Wayne Paul. They called him Wayne Paul. His father was Wayne, but they call him Wayne Paul because Wayne Paul Jr. Get it? No, mine. I'm guessing they must have got James of the United Kingdom says, I'm guessing they must have gotten allocated a number per state, which obviously makes them tougher to get, and only have 4 roses, balcones, and Jack at my bar. I can get all 3 of those, yes. I'm from the north, and middle names are rarely used, says Burley Sullivan. It seems like southern United States people go by their middle names often. They might. I guess they might. I haven't done a survey of that or a study. I know in the Catholic areas, they always use a saint for a middle name, a saint name. Like my middle name is James, St. James. So they'll always have a middle name. It would be a saint. If it's a girl, her middle name will be Elizabeth or Mary or Margaret or Rachel or, well, you know what I'm saying. And then the boy would be like Henry or something like that. Okay, we thought the MD stood for Mad Dog. That's a nickname for it. When I was in the 8th grade back in the 80s, early 80s, people used to call this stuff Mad Dog. But we knew it stood for Mogan David. We did know that because like Mogan David was a common wine. Was and is. Well, actually, it is a common wine. I see people buying it all the time. But this is Mogan David 2020, MD 2020. Peaches and cream, don't know when it came out. They're making it look like a 1930. You notice the font is like 1930s Art Deco. Does taste like fresh peaches and cream. Now, I don't know how they achieved that. I just remember in 8th grade, people would talk about it. You know, they were drinking it. You know, I was thinking to myself, that doesn't sound like a good idea. You know, to me. But yeah, we did know that Mogan David and Mad Dog MD 2020 was the same company. You know, we kind of knew that. This was just like their wild and crazy line. Like Mogan David is what your grandmother drank on Sunday at dinner. So your grandmother would drink Mogan David, grape, kosher wine, or the pomegranate, or the blackberry, or those, and then when people was wilding out, they would drink MD 2020 when they were wilding out. I don't know too many dinner parties where they would drink this, but maybe they're Maybe they exist. I don't know. Um, James Ashburn says, MD, oh my goodness, 2020. We used to drink that in the 90s as young adults and the weird fruit combinations. Oh, they have many crazy fruit combinations. Passion fruit, dragon, and all of that. We thought the MD stood for Mad Dog. And Herbie says, India, Nepal, Japan, South Korea support. Still off of the, you want to talk about electrical circuits now? Like what kind of plugins you should have? Okay, James Ashburn says 2020 was drunk by people 18 plus, not anyone over 30, and not sure if it still exists over here in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Yeah, good question. Is MD 2020 still available in the United Kingdom? Well, it's certainly available in the whole United States. Any kind of fruit flavor you could think of, honestly. But they do make a standard wine. They do actually make just a regular red wine. It's just grapes, but it's Concord grapes, and Concord grapes are really strange because that's what they make jelly from. Like, so if you go to the grocery store and you buy jelly, grape jelly to put on a sandwich, those are Concord grapes. They grow in New York. Like, New York State has the best climate for those grapes. But then the Dutch people found that you could make wine out of them. Now, the Dutch said they thought it tasted strange. The Dutch, who used to own New York, they thought, it tasted, it schmacked strange, but they wanted to drink wine, so they weren't back in Holland, so they made Concord wine. Wasn't their favorite. They didn't love it, but they drank it, So that's just a big industry. And we drove through New York State years ago, and it was vineyards, just acres and acres of vineyards, cheap, medium level, and expensive grapes, I'm sure. But if you drink the regular MD 2020 or the regular Mogen David, it tastes like the jelly. It's funny because it tastes like the grape jelly. It tastes like Welch's grape jelly. It's funny, But then they take that stuff and they add all kind of crazy flavors to it, and it's a kick. Okay, well, y'all take care. You're drinking a French Colombard white wine before bed, says James. Oh, that's a good idea. I love any kind of wine. It doesn't matter, any kind of wine. Cheap, mid-range, expensive. I like them all. This is me speaking. I know other people that pull their hair out, Moscato. Oh, they go crazy. It's like, and I tell them, well, I like Moscato. It's good. Oh, no, that's horrible. I'm like, well, if it's horrible, why do they sell it all around the world? Because people drink it because they hate it? Doesn't make any sense. Now, I did drink a wine Sunday night that tasted like Hawaiian punch. I wasn't thrilled with that. But it wasn't a bad flavor, but if I wanted to drink Hawaiian punch, I guess I'd drink Hawaiian punch. I know all about that, Herbie. All right, we all take care. See y'all in a few. About 43 minutes for Light Beer Wednesday. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.